This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Hello and good evening, and welcome to North Nottingham Paranormal Investigators. How are you guys who are just joining? Hi there, Michelle Jean. Hi there, Patty Morton. Hello there, Chris. How are you, my friend? Right, so as many of you in the paranormal have seen just recently, there's been a lot of controversy over celebrity spirit box sessions. Personally, myself, I do not agree with them for many, many reasons, which will come into light with this evening's discussion. I have two other guests who will be joining me very shortly. But to understand the spirit box is to basically understand the facts of what the spirit box is about, and not only that, about what spirits are about, or should I say, presumed spirits. So from that, I actually jotted down a few notes earlier this evening, which I'm going to read off to you now to give you a little bit more of an understanding of certain facts that many people in the paranormal simply do not adhere to, such as spirits themselves have not actually ever been proven. So I'll come on to that shortly. Hi there, Megan. How are you, sweetheart? So first, let me preempt the conversation we're going to be having tonight with something that I've written down earlier on. So I'll read from that now. I'll just have a little bit of a drink first. Right, okay, so first, to understand what spirit is about, we have to ask ourselves if spirits are real. So, do spirits exist? When people pass away, it is the belief of many leading parapsychologists that there is a time interval from the moment of death when we move on into the presumed afterlife, so the incarnate soul can adjust to the change towards their journey towards the afterlife. It has been said this period can take up to or around 72 hours, which is about 3 days. What investigators and parapsychologists say here is subjective, and it is not actually a proven fact. How can this be stated when spirits have never been proven to exist? I would like to ask these investigators and parapsychologists where they got their 100% proof from for this occurrence. But it is blatantly obvious it is something that they just, like the rest of us, cannot prove. It is a person's own beliefs and what they believe in when they present evidence to other people. So to believe in their own narrative and put it forward as evidence, it would be a wrong representation of the facts. Again, simply because spirits have never been proven. So when they represent evidence from their spirit box sessions, all they are doing is assuming from untruths. So how is it possible then to provide evidence? Basically, all they are doing is putting out a misconception of wrongful rhetoric. leading people to believe in something they cannot or has never been proven. I have a saying, and that is, because somebody says something, it doesn't actually make it true. Yet people follow this untrue logic and assume themselves it is a foregone conclusion that this must be true, not realizing it is a falsity. It is not for any of us to agree with anything they say, or myself for that matter. This is why I personally, and through my own research, try to put up evidence from the spirit box to try and prove the voices we hear and get our replies from is foremost an intelligence that speaks back to us from the spirit boxes, and not to state categorically the voices we hear are spirits of the dead. Once science can prove beyond doubt there is an intelligence that speaks back to us from the spirit box, only then can we turn a page and try to establish who or what and where these voices are coming from. So in retrospect, anybody doing a spirit box session and claiming it is the spirit from a dead celebrity is spinning a fake and false narrative. Yet many uneducated spirit box users just turn on the spirit box and present a complete fabrication of a session they have done about a dead celebrity or any other spirit or presumed spirit for that matter, and either make money from it through untruths, false narratives, and assumption based on something that has never been proven. This is the reality of the situation, with plain and simple facts. Yet these box users are expected to be believed, and are not only fooling themselves, but also fooling those who watch their clickbaited sessions. Regardless of what we want to believe, whether spirits are real, we have to adhere to the facts and look at it from a scientific point of view. And spirits, again, have never been proven to be real. It is bad enough when people do normal sessions and get the narrative wrong. But it is a whole new scenario when sessions are done for revenue and clout. How do these people think it affects the families when they look at the internet and see somebody is talking about their lost loved ones? If real, why would these dead celebrities talk to somebody within hours of their deaths? And in recent deaths, even before their body parts have been collected, such as the Kobe Bryant situation, where it literally took days for the body parts of all those that perished in that helicopter crash to be collated. Yet people are doing spirit box sessions on these dead celebrities. Surely, if there was a spirit, wouldn't it be feasible they would want to connect with the family first, instead of some person that they have never met? When addressing everything about the spirit box, we must come from a viable angle and a truthful perspective of what is real and what is subjective, and open to interpretation of the facts. So this evening, we're going to gather our thoughts and have a conversation about the impact and also the problems in the paranormal field that connecting with dead celebrities causes. So from there, I will introduce my two guests for this evening, which is Zara Hilton.
Good evening, everybody.
And we also have Sorry, this is Zara Hilton from Paranormal White Noise. Sorry about that, Zara.
That's okay.
I was getting slightly ahead of myself. And our other guest is Paranormal People, Mags. Good evening, Mags.
Evening, Glenn. Zara.
Hi, Meg.
So, from that little speech there, I don't know who wants to start first, but I think under the circumstances, Zara would be a good advocate for starting first, simply because Zara is related to Johnny Cash, and a certain person in the paranormal did a spirit box session on Johnny Cash. Now, the rhetoric that he used within that spirit box session was actually quite awful. So if you would like to explain about that, Zara, and the impact that it had on yourself.
Of course, yeah. As most people know, Johnny Cash was a devout Christian. And the relationship that I have within my family where he is connected, just as a bit of a background info, there is a connection between my grandfather and Johnny Cash, and I can't remember if it's cousin, second cousin, somewhere down the line there's a connection there. And before this, in particular video, I wasn't very pleased with what I saw from what this person, just a bit of background. And then in particular day, there was a session put up, and it was Michael Jackson and Johnny Cash. And I thought, okay, well, this is a family member, no matter how distant. I wanted to see what it was about. So I watched it, and I was in utter disgust, if I'm being perfectly honest. For somebody that was a devout Christian in life, this person said that they were in the pits of hell and that they moved them up into the realms of heaven. Now, I personally do not believe this at all. I was very outspoken about it at the time. This was on my personal channel, but I no longer have that video public. That is now private. For myself as a family member, I felt disrespected for my mother's family name, which is Cash. It was disrespectful to his living relatives to say that where he had passed on and he's at a place of peace, to find that the only thing that I can say is this charlatan is saying that that their loved one is in the pits of hell and with Satan and purgatory and all these types of words being used. To come across something like that, this, especially if it does happen to be a close family member, brings up all this grief that you already had to go through once. Now, I didn't go through any grief. I was just completely disgusted, but I could only imagine what his living family members were feeling. I know for a fact that they were contacted. I even sent an email myself to the main Johnny Cash estate about it, and from what I heard through the grapevine, they were disgusted, and there was even talk of going down the legal route. It's not the first time in the last couple of years that I've heard from that you hear from other family members, from other people that he's done, that they have considered going down the legal route, as it is disrespecting that person's memory. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. I would not want something like that to happen to an immediate family member of mine that's moved on. I would want them to be left in peace. I would not want them to be contacted. If they wanted to make contact themselves, then obviously that's a different story. But like you said in your opening statement, why would somebody like Johnny Cash or Kobe or any of the other people that he's supposedly contacted would want to contact him?
Yeah, it's must be really disheartening, you know, to think, as a family member, to think that if, you know, his spirit, you know, was around, why on earth they'd want to go and talk to somebody that has no respect for the dead at all. The same as many other people that do these celebrity spirit box sessions. It's obvious they have absolutely no connection to these people.
No.
They have no respect for these people, you know, and, you know, it's just about the clickbait. It's just about the revenue from, you know, the AdSense, or the, you know, however they monetize themselves, you know, because, well, as we know, that when people do these celebrity sessions, as in the, is it the Extension? Extension, yeah. You know, that they will, you know, some of these people will only get, you know, 200-300 views on any of the uploads that they do. Yeah, as soon as they do a spirit box session on a dead celebrity, obviously everybody on the internet just, you know, searches for that name, and that's why these people get so many, you know, views on the on those videos. You know, sometimes in the hundreds of thousands. You know, and the revenue that is generated from that is solely the reason why they do these sessions.
Well, there's an ulterior motive, isn't it? But at the end of the day, obviously, it's down to a lot of it's clickbait. It's using what's currently out there in the media at that time. So these people's names are going to be said. So again, the validity of something like that is going to be false. Also, there is no consideration for any of the living family members of these people. And it's also to sell a very overpriced product that can be built, which is not necessary anyways, but can be built for maybe $100 and selling for $4,000. To me, there's a monetary gain, because why monetize these types of sessions if this person was a fan of these people? Out of respect, I would have thought any person logically thinking would demonetize these types of videos out of respect. But no, this in particular person leaves the monetization on because they know using these people's names, especially within the first 48 hours of death, even sometimes after a few hours, this person has been reported as passing. It just shows they are only after the monetary gain. No other reason. If it was because that there's actually, if I may, if I've actually got it on this one, there is something that this in particular person posted on their social media, if I'm able to read that out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, I think it's just on my iPad. Just bear with me 2 seconds. And I'll actually tell, and it actually says a lot. It's only the first paragraph. God, where is it? Okay. I should have had this ready because I didn't think about it beforehand, but it's just come to me now, so I do apologize.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. I'll come to you shortly, Max, and you can give us your
here we go.
Your initial overall thoughts, about what these people do.
Right. The first paragraph. Now, this is on. I'm not going to mention the actual name and their friend's name because I don't want to give them.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Zara, because they're actually mentioning his name in chat, and I'd rather not
to. Right, so this person, and this is only the first paragraph, and it says, thousands of you have requested I reach out to Kobe Bryant on the other side. As always, when a high-profile celebrity passes away, I get bombarded with requests. Many see this as wrong, but I see it as only right. To not allow spirit to speak is disrespecting them. When a spirit wants to speak and we do not allow them out of fear that it is wrong, that in itself is wrong. Spirits want to speak and want to be heard, and their soul is very much alive. I find it to be a very special thing when we can connect with the other side. With that said, others out there have already done a session for Kobe, including my good friend blank. They have not posted it yet, but they did connect as I saw an amazing clip from their video. They may release their video in a week or so. Now, there is 2 keywords that was said in that first paragraph, or should I say 3? High profile celebrity. Those 3 words alone says a lot in my eyes. I just want to get that out.
Yeah, so okay. Another thing that people need to understand, when these people do these celebrity spirit box sessions or spirit box sessions pertaining to any spirits, they put it out as a truth that they are directly talking to spirits over the spirit box. Again, the question has to be asked, is the spirit box a viable tool for the paranormal? It's never been proven that the voices that speak back to us are spirits. And also, the emphasis would actually be on to present evidence first that there is an intelligence speaking back to us through the spirit box, and not to jump straight to the conclusion that these voices are spirits. So, when a person presents a spirit box session, all this seems to have been forgotten, and people just automatically think, that they're talking directly to spirits, when even spirits have, never been proven. Obviously, we all want to believe that we go on when we pass away. We all want to believe, that the spirits of our loved ones are real. But the last thing that we ever want is for these presumed spirits to be called upon and exploited for money, which in my book and many other people's opinions within the paranormal also would agree with me on that. So, Max,
Mm-hmm.
When you came into the paranormal, and you started to see these spirit box sessions that people did on dead celebrities, what was your initial thoughts on all that?
I remember cringe, to be perfectly honest with you. You know how skeptical I can be on a lot of things anyway, but I've always been respectful. Even, we've had many conversation about this, but when I first started doing the spirit box, I didn't really know much, but I knew to be respectful. I'd seen the ghost shows like anybody else, where they're taunting the ghosts and calling them out, and I just think it's really disrespectful. So whenever I asked, I was never rude or horrible like that. I think to disrespect the spirits that you're actually trying to contact is so bad. To disrespect somebody who's just passed, and you are disrespecting a person. They might not have a body anymore, but they're still a person. If that's what you believe, you're actually disrespecting somebody who's just gone through the worst trauma of their life and not come out the other side in one piece. They've gone to the other side, and you're disrespecting them by putting words in their mouth. It's disgusting. It's immoral. It's horrible. I hate it. And Glenn knows that I've ranted all week about this with different things. I had just a quick look before on YouTube, and what I put in was Kobe Bryant paranormal, and that's all I put in. I was looking down the search options. I didn't even go to the bottom of them, and I found 17. I think about 14 of them was spirit box sessions. There was a Ouija session and a couple of card readings, but there was 17, and I didn't even get down to the end of the page, search page. And to me, they are just walking all over a poor man's grave, even though he isn't in it yet. It's disgusting, and it's money making, and we all know it's money making. And that person Zara can talk about can say that we're wrong to not do it, and that's only his justification for it. That's all he's doing, is trying to justify his own vile actions, and it makes me ill. I don't even call out to family members. Do you know what I mean? I don't even use their names in my sessions. I will not call the spirit by name. I'll say, if there's any spirits around who want to step forward and talk to me, I will never ever call somebody forward who, by name, because how do I know where I'm pulling them from? They could be having the time of their life somewhere and not want to come and talk to me. Why would I talk to them? Why would I do that? So anybody I have a lot of family around me, which is great. And, when I have a session, I get all the names come through and things like that, which is lovely. But I would never call them by name when I start a session or when I'm doing it, only after they've given me their name, because I think it's just rude. It's like you wouldn't just walk to somebody's house and say, come here, and drag them out, would you? It's the same as doing that with a spirit box if you start calling them forward. So
yeah, it's very, very disrespectful.
It is disrespectful. I wouldn't do it to family, so why would I do it to somebody who just passed? One thing, forget that they're a celebrity, but have just passed. We know the celebrity is the money-making part. We know that's all it is. It's money, views, subscribers. We all know that. But just even a normal person who's just, why would you do that? They could be confused. We don't know what happens when we're over there. We don't know what happens when we die. So, they could be disorientated, and his daughter was with him, and nobody has given a second thought to that child. Nobody has given, they've dragged his name through everything, and a poor girl died too. How is her family, that mother must be distraught, and it really upsets me, Glenn, to be and I don't get stressed out about a lot of things, but they really do upset me. It really hurts me and upsets me that they've banding his name around, and that poor girl went too,
Yeah, you see, another thing is, as we all know, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet, and it's for everybody to see, including, close friends and family members. It must be so, disheartening again for these relatives and friends to see, the exploitation, of their lost loved ones. It's absolutely abhorrent, in my view, with what these people do.
I've got something to add. This is not not to do with the channel that we're not going to mention. Well, we're not going to mention any channel names, but there was another channel. You're going to know who I'm talking about, Glenn. I'm not too sure if you're going to, Mags. But this in particular channel did a spirit box session while they were listening to it on the news. Did a spirit box session, and a few days later, this was only like a day or two ago, they uploaded a video gloating about how many views they've got on 3 videos to do with Kobe.
Now I know who you're talking about.
3 videos. They were gloating at the amount of views that they've got. And that just shows you it's not out of respect for the family, it's for clout and it's for views. And that in itself is disrespectful and morally wrong and disgusting.
Totally agree with you. I feel hurt for the spirits, and I know that sounds really stupid. I'm not, a medium or a psychic or anything like that, but I'm a human being with feelings, and the thought of what could be happening to these people when they've just passed over, and then some idiot with pound signs or dollar signs in his eyes starts trying to drag them from where they're adjusting to, the shock, the horror that they've gone through. How dare they?
Yes.
I'm not told to listen. How bleeding dare they?
It just seems with these people that do these sessions, Max, that they're either extremely uncaring or they just don't care at all. It was.
I didn't even get to the bottom of the page. 17.
Yeah, and the sad fact is these people know that it's going to cause controversy, which they actually want controversy simply because it creates more views again.
I agree.
It's the impact it has, on the living relatives. It just must be awful. How would these people like it if they had a parent or a partner that passed away, and then some person came along and did a spirit box session on that person, without being asked, no permission given, and got a lot of things wrong about the person that had passed away. What if it just wasn't asked for, and yet people take it upon themselves to do these sort of things. It's the overall picture is these people should just not do this.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't do it, but we know why they do it, and that makes it 10 times worse. If we were new people coming into the field who had no morality, or morals at all, really, about themselves, or just didn't understand the seriousness of the situation and what they're dealing with, I can understand why they would go to those people's channels, because a lot of people who come into the paranormal, come into it actually for the right reasons. They've lost somebody. People who are drawn to the paranormal are usually people who've lost somebody they love. and they're the type of people who are drawn to the paranormal. And it's, we don't, you see people getting conned out of money. It's kind of the same situation by fake mediums and psychics and things like that. That they're faking to get the money. These people on YouTube are just doing the same as a fake psychic, just using a spirit box. It's the same thing. It's money orientated. That's all it is. They'll get the views, they'll get the likes, or even dislikes, because it really doesn't matter on there, does it? And they'll get the watch time and they'll get revenue from it. And if they go live talking about it, they'll get super chat, you know? And that's the only reason they're doing it. It's the same thing as a fake medium or a fake psychic. They're just using the spirit box on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before, sorry, Zoe, I was just going to say, before we come on to, like, you know, the next issue that, you know, entails within this, I was just about to ask you if there was anything else that you wanted to add to that.
Hi, Tori.
Did you want to add anything, Max?
No, I'm good. No,
yeah, I did actually ask you there, Zara, which you was actually coming on to when I was going to say that, actually.
Oh, right, okay. Now, I just wanted to add, you know, with it, going back to this person's statement where they said thousands of requests, a lot of these requests that people are asking for this person, that person, you know, Joe Blogs, whatever. A lot of these requests are actually from kids. They're not from adults.
Well, that's understandable when being a sports star. You know, it was the same with Extension, the singer, the rapper. You know, he had a very young following, so it would have been the same for Extension. I can never get his name right.
Me neither.
Extension.
Yeah.
Chloe's gone to a concert in Manchester on Saturday. I mentioned it, I think. And one of the people who she went to see has died since then. If she came to me and said, "Mum, will you do a spirit box on me?" I'd be like, on you know, I think it was a grime artist, rap grime, you know. I'd be like, no, not even, you know. And he was like one of her favourite English grime artists, you know. And I would be like, no, I'm not touching it with a 10-foot barge pole, you know, because she'd only seen him a few days before, and you know, then he's died. Because she was like, "God, Mum, that's really crazy. I can't believe that he's." And she said, "I've just seen him, and you know, he's gone." But Chloe has been brought up, I suppose, the same way as me, and she would never ask that, you know. But it's like, you can imagine how children or younger adults or things like that do want to know when things like that happen. But Chloe's always been brought up with more respect for spirits because of the activity in the house. But it's honestly, all I can do is shake my head, and it's really wound me up this week. I've been like all week on pins because of it. I really have, more than normal, and I don't know why. It's not like a new Kobe Bryant or anything. So more than but I think it just got to the point where, you know, that point where enough's enough. It got
you know, it's normally always the usual suspects as well, Mags, you know, that cover these celebrity sessions. But I've actually been really shocked and surprised at some people, you know, that have actually clickbaited using Kobe Bryant's name, you know, just for the views. You know, I'm just shocked at some of the people that have actually, you know, jumped on this, who have actually changed they must have changed their views on it, because before they disagreed with it, and then all of a sudden, because, you know, it's all about the views, you know, it's all about the clickbait, you know, whatever reason it's for, it's definitely for clout, that's for sure. You know, but you know, I've just been really shocked to see certain people that have actually, you know, done sessions on Kobe.
It's been mad this time, hasn't it? It has actually been crazy, the amount that.
Yeah, and it seems that the more celebrities that are passing, it seems to be more of a fad within the paranormal. Every time somebody passes away, there seems to be more and more people jumping on the bandwagon to do, you know, celebrity box sessions.
It's respect. Where's the bleeding hell is the respect gone? Where? You know, why? I really can't put my mind around it, you know? And I don't really get worked up over a lot of things. So, but this is one of those situations that I feel hurt by it, because I just think, I feel sorry for the spirits, because nobody's sat there, you know, asking the spirits if it's all right if people do this. Do you understand what I mean? There were people once. Why would you do it to them? It's vile, honestly.
Well, what makes it not laugh as in laugh ha ha, but what makes me laugh is that
Harry,
a lot of paranormal channels, or even just single people nowadays, they're thinking that this type of thing is okay.
Because they don't know any different. I think both myself and you, Zara, we were both lucky to meet Glenn, you know, and I think that helped us in our direction, you know, although I was always showing go to the dreaded YouTube, and all my early sessions were on there. I would never using names, and I was always using respect, and I still do now. And I always say, like, you know, thank you, you know, and please, you know, is there anybody there? And I'll say, right, thank you. Can I ask you that, you know? And I'm always very respectful. And sometimes if I forget to say thank you, I feel bad then that I've not said thank you and then given me a response. I feel bad.
No, I agree with you, Megs. It's like you have, you know, I'm not going to say every single channel, because that's not the case. It's not every single channel that does these things, but the channels that do upload these types of sessions, they say that they're respectful to spirit, but yet if they're supposed to be respectful to spirit, then why the hell are they doing celebrity spirit box sessions?
They're not sessions, Zara. It's garbage, pure and simple.
Well, yeah.
Because as soon as the respect goes out the window,
They
you know, for the spirit, for the person, you know, for the first responders who've gone and had to find and go through that, for every first responder there, for every police officer, every fireman, every ambulance person, a paramedic, for all those who've had to go and face that, and then some idiot thinks he knows how to use a spirit box. They're going through trauma, could end up with PTSD or anything, and they're sat there with a spirit box thinking they know everything.
Well, yeah, exactly. This is it. They're, you know, they say the ones that turn around and say that they respect spirit, and then they go and do something like that. Especially when it's somebody that's just passed. That I'm terribly sorry, but they do not have respect.
I agree wholeheartedly.
They do not have any respect, and that to me is, you know, one thing that I personally find is extremely important within the paranormal. It is staying honest and staying truthful. And I know with Glenn, it's to do with credibility. How can you expect these people to be credible when they're doing stuff like this?
Yeah. And they shouldn't, and you can't take them as credible, and they shouldn't be respected, and they shouldn't get the views. But at the end of the day, they're going to, because most people don't know it's wrong. Most normal people don't know it's wrong. And how much foot traffic do you think they actually get on YouTube, where they've put Kobe Bryant in and gone to search, you know, maybe looking for news or something like that, an update or anything, and they've come across one of these spirit box sessions? They're not going to know, are they? They're not going to know how fake it is or how wrong it is, and you've got to. I'm sorry, a lot of them will be fake as well.
Well, see, the thing is, Mags, that the responsibility with that actually lies on a lot of the people within the paranormal itself. You know, such as like the bigger groups, those that do have the bigger followings, you know, with more subscribers, they should actually be, you know, held accountable for, like, you know, some of them, you know, doing these celebrity spirit box sessions or putting them out there to their vast amount of subscribers, you know, and making them see that, you know, oh, it's okay to do this, you know, and that's why, you know, a lot of the, especially the younger generation within the paranormal, you know, they take their lead from these groups, from these people, you know, that does this sort of stuff, you know, and they think it's okay.
Yeah, and
when it, you know, if they was educated in the right way by these groups and people, that it is the wrong thing to do. You know that we would all be reading, you know, off the same page.
Yeah, but it's not just wrong, is it? It's the disrespect. It's vile, and it's disgusting and vile. And I can't use those words strongly enough. You know, I'm not one to get outraged at a lot of things. I kind of just like shake my head at it and jog on. And I just think, you do you, I do me kind of thing. But this grates me in a way that I can't even explain.
So the other aspect of a lot of these spirit box sessions that are done within hours of the celebrity passing, and Zara, if you want to explain this, you're more than welcome to. As for the pareidolia aspect side of it, can you explain all that?
Yeah, of course. Okay, when is as we're talking high profile celebrities, as the majority of you know, when a celebrity dies, it doesn't matter that newspaper, TV, but most importantly, because it's what we're dealing with, radio. These people's names are going to be so prevalent on a radio. So this is why they use the time of death within the first few days, is because their name is mentioned everywhere, especially on the radio. So the high probability of them actually calling this, speaking to this so-called high-profile person, is going to be zero due to pareidolia. And this is due to their name being mentioned across the radio sweep, across the band. So if somebody has to do a high profile spirit box session, do it 6 months, do it a year down the line, within as their name will not be mentioned, or not necessarily be mentioned, as the first few days of that person dying. So there's more chance of pareidolia happening within the first few days or week of that person dying, because it's going to be rife on the radio, and not just one radio station, but across the whole band of radio stations, then a year, 2 years, 5 years, even 10 years down the line. So it's not that believable because of all these things that happen around a person's death. You guys will know from yourself with the Kobe, with at the moment with XXXTentacion and all these other people's, the media frenzy that goes on around these people is immense. So to do a spirit box session around about this time there is actually no point, because of the amount of pareidolia that can actually happen.
But isn't that just exactly what they use, Zara? That is a money maker, isn't it? That's the whole got to be done within 24 hours thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly why they use it, because they know that media attention is there across the whole radio band. And they use that because they use that as evidence that they've spoken to that person, which is false.
Yeah. That'd be a nice idea, Chris, but it would never happen because, like we just said, some people are just immoral and just don't care.
Yeah.
I think you explained that perfectly there, Zara.
Thank you.
It's just a shame that these people can't see it in the same way.
But they won't see it though, Glenn, because they're not the same kind of people who have respect as yourself and Zara and me. They just don't have the respect for the spirits. They don't. No. They mention research and everything like this, but they're not actually researching anything. The only thing they're researching is the bank balance and how much they can make from the situation. So they're not real paranormal investigators or ITC researchers or anything like that. The money makers, pure and simple.
Yeah. And it's
go on, Zara.
I was just going to say, for me personally, my own personal opinion, my own personal view, I think it's disrespectful. It doesn't matter if somebody's died a year, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years ago. No. I do not believe in contacting dead celebrities whatsoever. For me, it is a total no-go.
Right. So, okay, as learned spirit box practitioners ourselves, all three of us, when we actually speak to these presumed spirits on the spirit box, there are, we have our own protocols of, how any spirit should be addressed. And I think, as you mentioned earlier on, Zara, they're not to be asked for, by name, because they could be being pulled from, a happy place in the afterlife. It's always better to, ask spirits who are already there and willing to come forward of their own free will, to contact any other spirit that we wish to come through. But directly calling out for them by name, again, in my book, is wrong.
It is wrong. To me, it's very wrong. It's very disrespectful. Again, if it's somebody that maybe does something, if they want to do it personally and not put it on social media, each to their own at the end of the day. But to go and put it on social media, there is always an agenda there. And if somebody turns around and says, well, there's no agenda there, I just wanted to put it up because it's blah, 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 X, Y, Z. Sorry, I don't believe it. There has to be some type of narrative there. And it's, and I'm actually going to use, if I may, Glenn, a situation from your Maddie box sessions.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah, I know what angle you're going to come from, Zara. That's fine.
Yeah, right. Now, Glenn has got 2 outstanding, and I mean outstanding, box sessions on his YouTube channel. And it's about Madeleine McCann. Yeah, it's about Madeleine McCann. But the difference of what you will see to these other people that have done asking for Madeleine McCann, because there are sessions out there asking for Madeleine. What is different between these sessions and what Glenn has done, he does not ask for Madeleine. What he actually does is he is asking direct questions to certain pieces of information, and he is actually receiving direct replies with information back, correlating to the actual case itself, which can be researched and can be verified. This is the difference. Yeah, so Glenn isn't asking for Madeleine. He is asking for information pertaining to that case, and nothing to do with Madeleine herself, to speak to Madeleine, like a lot of these other sessions that other people have uploaded.
I did the same. I did a Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
Like a lot of these other sessions that other people have uploaded.
Who's got this running?
It's me. I was just fiddling then when I was trying to get rid of YouTube that I just put the links in for. And then that's cool. Turned it off now. Yeah, I did one on Jack the Ripper. I never once asked for the spirit or entity or whatever of Jack the Ripper. I was asking for information from people who had asked to, the spirits who had asked to step forward. So this is how I treat them. I say people, and that's literally what I say, because that's how I feel, and sorry, Joanne. Yeah, and I never once asked for that. I was asking about people involved around the situation, who they thought who the spirits who'd stepped forward thought he was, things like that. I never once asked for the spirit of the supposed Jack the Ripper to step forward, and nor would I. And we were asking for information surrounding it. And, you see, this is the difference. The same with Glenn, the same with what I did. We respect the spirits who actually choose to come forward and try to speak to us, and try to contact us. And it isn't easy for them, and for, we use a spirit box, and we use it to the best of our ability. Is it the same for them? How do we know how they hear us? We don't know if they've got interference trying to hear us asking. We don't know, and this is kind of why, we ask a question a couple of times, sometimes 3 times, we'll give it a couple of sweeps of the box for each question or what have you. And that's why we do it, because we literally do not know how they hear us. If they're hearing us the same kind of way that we're hearing them, it's hard for them. It's difficult. It could be draining for them. We just, because I believe in energy, and it's an energy kind of thing. So it could be draining for them. We don't know, but there is not now and not ever any excuse for disrespect, which is what those people, shall we say, because I'm being nice, those people do is disrespectful.
So in my, I didn't want this this stream to run on and on. I think we've made some valid points, that pertain to these celebrity spirit box sessions.
Yes.
And the reasons why we, disagree with them. So I'm going to put some lemons in the chest to throw out to the chat.
Okay.
And while I do that, I'll close with all I can actually say is I just find it disrespectful. I find it very disheartening for the living relatives to actually come across this stuff on the internet. And I just think these people, in hindsight, should reflect on what they're actually doing and have a good long think and basically a good long look at themselves to correct what they're doing and to just stop doing these celebrity spirit box sessions. It's abhorrent, and it really is. So I'll leave you in, Mags, to have your closing thoughts on it, Zara.
Okay, but I think you need to say a special hello to somebody in chat.
Right, I'm going to have to come back out of where the lemons are then and go into the other side to see that, because I can't see chat right now.
Because you need to see what's happening in your chat at the moment before we do closing comments or anything.
All right. Okay, Louis Radio, thank you for joining the stream. Hello there, Dave, my friend. How are you, Mr. Green Bay Wacky? What a pleasure.
But have you seen what's actually happened in the chat?
I'm just going back on the chat now. Oh, wow. Thank you, Dave, for the diamond.
Keep looking.
I feel very honoured. Thank you all for the lemons.
Triple treat, hun.
Oh, I've had a, what's it called? A try
Trifecta.
A trifecta. Oh, wow. My very first one. Thank you very much, Dave.
And you've received 3 of them.
Wow. I feel so honoured. I'm very humbled, Dave. Thank you very much.
You worked. I didn't chat much on Dave's today, but you worked hard today, Glenn, in there.
You think
did.
so?
You worked hard in there today, my friend.
And again.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to put an extra bonus now in the chest, aren't I?
So, Zara, didn't he? Worked hard today.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try my hardest. That's all I can say. I try my hardest.
You do. Well, why you go back to doing your chest? Max, what's your closing thoughts for the stream today?
If I could stop it, Zara, you know, if I had a wish or 3 wishes, it would be my top wish, purely and simply because they're not thinking of the spirits themselves as much as they would try to justify it by saying, you know, how can we not do it? That's not you know, any reason whatsoever. It's a justification. It's just it's disrespecting the spirit, it's disrespecting the family, and it's also disrespecting everybody who's been involved or around the situation. Like I said before, you know, whether it's first responders, doctors at the scene, you know, it's so those people have gone through so much trouble, and then they're seeing these idiots saying they're speaking to whatever celebrity it is, when really all they're doing is money making from a situation. It's vile, it's disgusting, it's abhorrent, and to be perfectly honest with you, if I had my way, they'd never be able to get the videos up, ever, and they certainly shouldn't capitalise off it monetary-wise or any other way whatsoever. That's my final thoughts on it. It makes me ill.
I think for me, along the similar lines of you, Mags, there's no respect for the families, the living relatives. There's no respect for the spirit themselves. I find it morally wrong, and the people that request these sessions think these sessions are acceptable should actually try and think how these people's families feel if they were to see something like this. They should actually be ashamed of asking these channels to do these sessions. And that's my final thoughts.
Yeah, I think, you know, all around we've made some valid points. I don't really think there's much more that we can actually say.
No.
You know, we've covered the main, you know, points where there's a lot of people in the paranormal, you know, have agreed on. I don't see hardly anybody at all that disagrees. So that's a good thing, you know, but obviously there is that contingent of people that just thrive on, you know, this sort of thing.
I agree.
You know, they have to take a good long look at themselves.
Yes.
The thing is, though, and like I said, they don't care. They've no respect. They don't care. They could sit there and look in a mirror all day and it still wouldn't affect them.
Yeah. So
Were you
in
talking
that,
thing we talked about? Yeah. Green Bay Wacky.
Yes.
yeah, it was very, very nice of Dave to pop across. I know he must be very tired. He's had a very, very busy day today.
It's a couple of days.
Well, yeah. But the communities we're in, you know, if it's one thing that we all do is support each other, and I think that's a very good thing.
Yeah, I was actually in Dave's all day today. I was just sat there listening because I had the workmen in the house. So I was just sat listening. Some good music, some good chat. I was reading the chat. I was laughing at Dave, Sarah.
There was some great music today.
Yeah.
There's always great music.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it. I was just sat back watching, you know, and because Sierra was in and out, and the workmen were here, and the cats were running for their lives, so they thought, because there were strangers in the house, you know. Yeah, it was really good. I was just sat back watching, and just, you know, I'd literally just sat back. I wasn't talking in chat that much, and I just sat back and relaxed and watched.
Well, if everybody wants to refresh, I'll give you enough time to refresh. So you can grab some of these lemons if possible. I hope you all get some.
I agree with you, Dave. We all agree with you, Dave.
Exactly, Dave.
And Paula, big hugs.
If you go in anybody paranormal and they're doing celebrity, either unsubscribe, walk away, and shame them in some way.
From us that don't do them and are against them, in our eyes, our own personal opinions is that they don't have any credibility. If they're willing to go that low, then for me personally, they have no credibility at all.
No, certainly do not.
No.
Right, is everybody ready for the lemons?
We are. I'll probably get one today.
Okay, 5.
Oh, you didn't get it the other day, did you?
4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. Lemons away. I don't know what everybody else has seen on their screen, but I'm at 22 seconds.
I'm a roughly around about that one.
Yeah, I'm 20. Well, I'm 15 now on the countdown.
Yeah.
I think there's 271.1 lemons in the chest, so I hope you all grab some.
Get those fingers moving. Let me see those fingers.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh, Chris, get in there.
Oh,
Chris.
wow. Well done, Chris.
I had
the winner.
22.4 for me.
65.9 for Chris Williams. Paranormal People with 38.3, but Mags always cheats.
Yeah, I cheat because of
well done, Higher Truth Paula with 27.9. Zara with 22.4. And Iwan, unpronounceable names, with 18.9. That was from 271. So looking at that, there's actually quite a few people out there in chat that's actually got lemons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Well done, everybody.
Woo! That's Dr. Murphy. That's just a brilliant name.
Yeah, I just said hello to Doctor. I saw him coming late there, but I did mention him. I think I've actually mentioned everybody that's coming. Or said hello to them.
You have, I think. Oh,
Massive Quant. Massive Quant. Is that the right pronunciation?
I think so, yeah.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, followed as well. Thank you for the follow. Ask Dr. Murphy. Thank you too for being here.
Oh, Jackie got the lemons.
Who didn't? Jackie?
Yeah.
She didn't get any.
No.
Oh dear, Jackie.
Jackie.
Oh dear. I don't quite know what to say, Jackie, except I'm very sorry.
I mean, probably best not have any.
You're welcome, Paula, sweetheart. thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting the channel.
I think
But in
we've all
closing,
spoken about it tonight.
yeah. But in closing, thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure to have you here. It's been a pleasure to have Zara here and Mags.
Thank you for
Nice to see Mags has actually been on her best behaviour this evening. We've actually had to have the doctors in to give her a few calming injections.
You see, this is the thing. It's your perception of behave. That's not my problem, is it? You know, what your morality scale is doesn't mean it's mine.
Michelle Jean, did you get some lemons? Hi there, Kelowna Beerish, is that? Beer? Oh, Kelowna Beer.
So, oh,
thank you. Oh, Michelle doesn't know whether she got some or not.
oh.
Well, if you wasn't on the top 5 board, Michelle, there's a little picture of a ninja above that, and it would tell you on there how many you actually got. I can't check it myself, so. Oh, that's all right, Richard. No problem, pal. We're just actually about to go. But thank you for joining anyway, Richard. You're always appreciated, pal.
Yep. This will be on replay, and I will actually be downloading this. So
yeah, and it will be uploaded to YouTube too.
Yes.
So for everybody that came, I thank you all so very much. Let's talk streams. Next streams, Zara.
Let me see, either tomorrow or Sunday, and it's not going to be a music one. I'm terribly sorry. I know you want your War of the World, but I will be moving the laptop to where my old setup used to be, and I'm going to see if we have any luck where I used to do my old setup.
Oh, you should do a card. Do some cards. Sarah, not pushing it, but do some cards. No, that last reading I got from you was just really bang on. It really were, weren't it? With things going on. Me, what we on? Maybe Sunday evening, you know, not late, you know, 5, 6 o'clock, something like that, maybe. And I'm just going to do shows I've downloaded because I couldn't find them. I think they're on my hard drive, but I couldn't be bothered looking. So I downloaded some of my legends that I've done on YouTube, and I just thought I'd play a few of those and see how it goes and talk about legends and mysteries leading up to what I'm going to be doing eventually when we get round to it.
Brilliant. And most importantly, when is your next stream going to be, Glenn?
I have no idea. It probably be at the weekend. I want to do a spirit box session for Charlie.
Yes.
Which was planned before, but obviously I was so busy that day. Everything caught up with me. I just didn't have time to stream. I do want to get that one out of the way for Charlie, because I am actually in the process of putting a video together with the evidence from the EVP sessions in there. And obviously I also want to add the spirit box session to that too. So
all three of us
probably, so that'll probably be my next stream.
That sounds good.
So, okay, guys, I'll let you say your final goodbyes. Thank you, everybody, for coming. You're all appreciated very much. Thank you, Dave, so much for all those diamonds. I now know what a diamond shower looks like, and I will not get it mixed up with a golden shower in the future.
Why? Why did you have to go there?
See you, Dave. You take care, pal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. You know, I really appreciate it. You all showing your support to Glenn means a lot to me personally.
Thank you, everybody, and I just hope you can actually take something away from it and realise that, you know, I'm not here to brag about anything we do as individuals, or, you know, we're close, so we do a lot of streams together. But I hope you take that we're honest from it, and maybe you can recognise the next time somebody's doing something that's a little not, you know, because it hurts us, I think, as people who respect the paranormal in all its different forms. I think it hurts us when we see these things going down. That is such disrespect towards family and the spirits. And, you know, if you can take anything from it, take that we're honest and truthful, and that, you know, educate yourselves in some way, shape or form. Then you're not drawn into that quagmire that is celebrity sessions.
Very well said, Max.
Yep, very well said.
Okay, I think that's about it.
Is that about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You all take care, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. So,
Thank you.
bye all.
Thank you. Bye, guys.